Are you in every way woman?
Welcome to Every Way Woman. So, at what point is saying I'm sorry past being polite? I've noticed that women are apologizing for everything. Is it too much, Amber?
I think it's too much. I had a friend that apologized every second of the day. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped on your foot. I'm sorry. And I just got tired of it. And I told her one time, I said, stop saying sorry. And she was like, appalled by the fact that I told her to stop saying sorry.
Well, I think even apologies, the I'm sorry has lost the actual meaning of
Right.
being sincere and being sorry because we hear it so many times. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I think it
It's not real.
depends. I have to say I'm sorry because of my clients when I do hair and makeup. If I do something and they don't like it, I'm sorry. Let me change it.
But
But
that's sincere.
in a relationship, am I sorry?
Right. But what if you do that makeup and you know it look good? Are you gonna say like I'm sorry? Like when is that cut off that limit part to say I'm sorry?
Let me go ahead and change it.
I'm like I'm sorry. It's gonna have to stay the same.
I'm a teacher, I'm an instructor, and I did have a student approach me and say, for someone who teaches us to be confident and to believe in ourselves and put ourselves out there, I noticed that you say you're sorry a lot. And
She called you out.
yeah, and it took me back, and I had to think about it. I was like, whoa. And then when I was hearing myself, and then I was self-conscious about it every time I said it.
Wow.
And so I think, yeah, definitely, I was saying it too much without really being conscious.
Cheryl,
See, I don't actually volunteer that many of them unless it's something that is truly sincere. You know,
Right.
I have no problem admitting when I've done something wrong, and I will definitely apologize for that. But in terms of just peppering speech with them, absolutely
do you
not.
think that comes from your expertise as a human relations professional?
You know what? Maybe it does. I mean, I can think of a perfect example. There was a person at my church who asked me if I would be willing to volunteer to sit on a particular committee. I told her I would get back to her because I wasn't going to just, commit to it right away. And ultimately, she came back to me, and for that, I did apologize because the answer was no. So that's
I would like to share a story.
No, and I'm sorry.
It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to participate.
I know.
I have a couple of stories, and they work together because took my niece out for a play date, and I had left because it was for kids. And when I came back, one of the teachers came up to me and said, "Your daughter, my niece, but she said your daughter won't apologize to this child, and she has to leave." And I said, "Okay, well, let me tell her that she needs to apologize. I said, look, you need to say you're sorry." And she said, "No." I said, "Why not? You have to say you're sorry." And she said, "Why? I'm not sorry. Why should I have to say I'm sorry?"
Wow.
And I didn't really fully get the full story of what happened, but I noticed years later, I ran into the same situation with my daughter. And I thought maybe it was just that child, but it was also my own child who then said to me, "No, I don't want to say I'm sorry." And I said, "Honey, you have to say you're sorry." And I was teaching her that she needed to say she was sorry, even though she was not sincere about it.
Well,
Right. So
Wow.
should we do that to children, even as ourselves, to force somebody to say sorry to us if they don't necessarily mean it?
I'll do that to get out of situations. I mean, I'll admit it. I will give an apology, even if I'm not truly sincere about it. And in a way, I know I'm disservicing
Right.
myself.
The person feels that though. The
But-
person feels that.
Absolutely.
You're not sincere about that.
No, I'm a good actor.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All
sorry.
my
Not
sorries
sorry.
have been sincere to
Right,
all
like,
of you.
okay.
Let's clarify.
But you know what? That actually brings up a good question because how do you? Because obviously we need to teach, our kids, our daughters, our little girls, but our kids in general, we need to teach them, how to give a sincere apology. But then, is it youthful stubbornness?
Right.
or
Is it
was
a
something
custom
else?
that we're teaching them it's customary to say I'm sorry?
So
Right.
when a man come along and try and abuse them, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
Well, but
I mean,
and it does
that
sometimes. The more women apologize, the more vulnerable or weak sometimes will appear. And a wise man once told me, he said, "A woman should apologize for nothing."
Who wise man is that?
Yeah,
That-
and is he
No,
available?
but that's true. But listen, to the point in that is you shouldn't apologize for who you are.
No.
And
is true.
I
That's
think
true.
I think so many people do that. They'll apologize for being successful. They'll just apologize for their situation in life as a way of sympathizing with somebody. But that's something they should be, ashamed of. Anna, what do you think?
I think, well, like I said, in relationships, I'm not sorry because it is who
Why?
I am, and if you can't accept me for who I am, then why do you deserve a chance with me?
You're so strong in that. You
I'm just
really
saying.
are.
I'm just saying.
But did your mom teach you that? I mean, what in you
Yeah,
instilled that?
she showed me to be myself. But sometimes I have to admit, the real part inside me, when I am alone, it's like, man, like, why are guys like, are they intimidated by me or what? Like, do I have to play dumb or something
But
to
so-
get a good guy? Like,
So it
you
brings
know?
out almost like an insecurity in you.
It does. But then I stop for a minute there. I'm like, screw that. I'm not sorry. This is who I
Next
am.
time you say you are sorry, and the bitch don't even mess with it. You sorry.
I mean, okay, but on the
They're sorry.
subject
Right.
of apologies, is it appropriate to ask or demand an apology from somebody?
Yes.
You know, absolutely. If someone has treated you in a manner that you know is unacceptable for you, then you need to let them know about it, and you need to let them know it's like, hey, we need to start fixing this, and here is how I expect you to fix it.
Yes.
You know, obviously own whatever part of it you need to, but
But what
absolutely.
if they don't? What if they don't want to?
Well, then, if you know, it's
And they're not
okay.
ready.
It's okay not to have friends all the time. Not everybody has to be your friend.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I'm on the same page with you, because at some point, if you don't tell somebody, hey, you need to apologize to me because you hurt my feelings. You may not know why, but it happened. But let me explain to you why.
Absolutely.
So it's got to be followed up with an
I like
explanation.
that. Let me explain to you why.
Do you?
We're all thinking.
Let me start right now. Let me tell you right now. I got boundaries.
I think we all meditated at that moment.
I know, like,
But you know what though? No, there's a lot of wisdom in that because
Yeah.
I'm in a situation now where I have a friend who's a young man and
Okay.
I'm somewhat displeased with his
tell.
behavior.
Oh.
And at one point I almost just threw in the towel and said, you know what, screw it, I'm out. And then I said, you know what, I haven't informed him of what the actual problem is. So I need to give him the opportunity to make it right before I just chuck in the towel.
Or have you ever done the classic apology where you don't know what you've done wrong, but it must have been something? And
Yes.
you're like, I am so sorry.
You're
For
like,
whatever
don't
I
know what
did,
it is,
but
and I
I'm
can
sorry.
see that you're upset by it. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't do that, Amber.
No, I don't.
I know.
You're not throwing
She's
in
like,
the
I
apology.
say sorry when I mean it.
Okay, well, lesson learned. Apologize when you need it.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Every Way Woman when we come back from this break. Thanks for watching. Coming up next, more Every Way Woman.
Are you in every way woman?
As women, we take care of everyone else, but we often choose to forget to take care of ourselves. Dr. Sherry Thomas is here to talk to us about the importance of checkups and taking care of ourselves. Thank you, Dr. Thomas, for joining us. I'm gonna be the first to say, I don't take care of myself. Why should women go to the doctor?
Well, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of everybody else.
That is true. That is true. But again, so when I decide to go to the doctor, what should I be asking my doctor since I've taken so long to get there?
Well, if you haven't been in over a year, you need to think about just a yearly exam, a yearly checkup. So women over 21 need to check their blood pressure, their cholesterol, have a pap smear and a pelvic exam. And then the doctor should go over different screening risks for you, your family history. Do you have a family history of high blood pressure, diabetes? Are you up to date on your immunizations? And then ask you about other things such as, do you exercise? Do you eat well? And do you smoke?
Now, when you ask all those questions, that would mean that a woman would need to know her body. How can we educate our women on knowing their bodies?
Well, think about your body in terms of anything else you maintain. Think about what you've heard and what your other girlfriends say. And also online, you can look online in terms of recommendations based on your age of what you should have checked. We all know once we hit 20, we should start doing breast exams. We all know once we become sexually active, we should start having pelvic exams and being screened for sexually transmitted diseases. We all know once we hit 50, or we should know, we need screening for colon cancer.
Right.
A very common cause of death in women.
So in knowing your body, and I'll use myself, like the other day I did an exam for myself and I felt a lump and I still haven't gone to the doctor because I'm making those excuses of, not going, too busy, etc. When I get to the doctor, usually they have me come in and out. What are some of the questions that I can ask the doctor to let them know, I need your time. I need you to spend some quality time with me.
Right, so you'll want to be specific. You're making an appointment just for this lump.
Right, okay.
And not for your yearly exam.
Okay.
So focus on your breast and not, oh, I also have a earache and I might have a cold today. Can you look at that? Focus on your lump in your breast. Tell him or her how long it's been there. Do you have a family history of breast cancer? When was your last mammogram? And that I do breast exams every month and this is new, or you know, I just saw a show and I saw on this breast exam and this has been there maybe just a week or two.
But you know, Dr. Thomas, and again, I have to use myself, sometimes it's so difficult going to the doctor because you don't feel like your physician is an advocate and you feel like they just throw you in there, they feel on you and they send you out. How will I know if I'm with the right doctor, or how do I find a doctor that will be an advocate for me?
Oh, that's an even better question than what to focus on for that little appointment. Find a primary care provider. It may not be a doctor, it may be a nurse practitioner, a physician assistant, but find a primary care provider who you feel comfortable talking to, that you can tell this person everything. You can tell them all these intimate details that you're going to need to tell them. Things that you might not tell your mother or your sister or your best friend, because they need to know that. And they need to listen so that they can help you get through whatever it is you're going through.
So my daughter's going to go away to college, and we're starting to have this conversation about, you know, when you're away, mommy's not there anymore. What do I tell her when she's in another state about looking for a doctor? Should I be involved in the process, or should I just let her handle it?
Well, one of the things she'll ask is her friends, which is what we do.
Yes.
You have a doctor you like, and so they've been screened. There's also ways online we can look at credentials of the doctor. And then meet the doctor and see if you like the doctor or the nurse practitioner or whomever you've chosen. With your daughter going to school, a lot of times they will have a clinic, and the clinic has several different healthcare providers that
but
rotate
that's so
through.
impersonal.
But you know, actually, you get some great doctors. I have some friends that have worked at different university programs, and you get some great doctors too, but they have a lot of the nurses, and their friends will say, oh, go see this person, they'll get this taken care of. And it's actually geared more towards students and not somebody my age.
But I think the message is, the most important thing is that she needs to go to the doctor and not be like her mother and wait till the last minute, right? She needs to take care of herself.
There you go. Know where it is. Know what their hours are.
Right.
Know when, if they're not there, you need to go to the emergency room. Know where the local emergency room is, or find a doctor in town that everybody else calls when they're closed on Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, well, I have to tell you, you've inspired me. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm gonna make an appointment. We take care of everyone. Before you can take care of others, you have to take care of yourself. Women, go to the doctor. Don't be like me, go to the doctor. Stay tuned for more Everyway Woman. We will be right back.
We'll be back with Everyday Fitness.
Are you in every way woman?
All right, so clear some space in your living room because Lisa is going to show us how we can do circuit training in your very own home. This is Everyway Woman.
Some of you don't think you can get a good workout at home, but it's easier than you think, and there are a lot of benefits. So Lisa Snow is here to tell us all about them. Lisa, so what do we need to get a good workout at home?
Well, really at home, you already have your equipment.
Okay.
And so
I don't have this thing.
Well, you can go out and buy one. This is a Bosu.
Oh.
And the great thing about working out at home is you can buy your equipment if you really want it, and then you can make a one-time payment, and then you can do anything you want with it.
Is this something like this expensive, or?
No, it's not compared to a gym membership or
there you go.
constantly
That's the key.
paying.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a one-time payment, and you can use it however you want.
Okay, so what do I do with it?
So this is a Bosu, and you can use it standing this way, you can flip it over, you can do whatever. But right now we're going to work on our abs with it.
Okay.
So
You're talking the right part.
A good exercise for the Bosu is you can have a seat. It's a little wobbly, so it makes you use your core and stabilize. You put your hands on the floor and you just extend your feet out and bring them in. Tighten your core as you do it. And you can do so many reps. You can do until you have a burnout, or you can do 3 sets of 10.
Might be a little less reps than you think. I mean, how advanced do I have to be? Let me figure this thing out.
It's all to your level. So if you need to put your hands down flat on the floor, you can do that just until, yep.
Yeah, so it's definitely wobbly.
Yeah, so
Okay,
tighten your
do
core.
I put my hands down?
Yeah, first starting out, you can
thank
put your
you.
hands on the floor, tighten your core, and just make sure you're contracting every time you pull your knees in.
Oh, every time.
That's all you need to do.
It's happening here.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that when you're at home and say, oh, I can't really buy a Bosu right now, I don't know how to do it, you can just grab some pillows off your couch, and I'm sure you have pillows on your couch.
I sure do. I usually lounge in them, but I could try something else.
Why not switch it up?
Okay,
So
what
it's
do I do with
basically
them?
the same kind of thing as you did with the Bosu, because it's raising you off the ground, and you can still do this. And when your feet go out, they're not on the ground like they would be if you're flat. And you do the same thing, contract your core. And since you have 2 pillows on each top of each other, it makes you have the same resistance.
Now, is this an alternative to this, or do I need both things?
It's an alternative.
Okay, cool.
Yes, if you don't feel like buying Bosu right away and you want to work up to the Bosu, start on the pillows.
This is pretty hard, too.
Exactly.
I'm moving all over the place.
That's the whole point.
But look at me go.
I know, you're doing great. That's awesome. So
Okay.
it's just as long as you keep contracting the core and you have your stabilization, you're all
Okay.
set.
Okay, what do I do with the weights?
Dumbbells. I love dumbbells because you can work out any part of your body. You can do the normal curls.
I thought you were talking to me. Okay,
Oh.
never mind.
You could do the normal curls, you could do the shoulders, you can even do the legs, you can lift, anything you want. Cool thing with dumbbells is if you don't have them, you can actually use cans of soup, you can use water bottles, and even if they're light, the more repetitions you have, the harder the workout.
Okay. Oh.
So you're gonna grab the dumbbells.
What's a good standard weight for people to have? Should I do?
Starting
bicep?
off, you can, bicep curls.
Okay.
Soften your knees a little bit, make sure you're not hyperextending, and there you go.
Okay.
You already got it. You can already use pickle jars.
I'm already advanced.
You're
huh?
already advanced. Once you hit the pickle jars, you're good.
You're big time at pickle jars.
That's right.
Okay, good time.
So, and if it's light and you ask what kind of weight that you start with, you can start with 5 pounds. You can start a little heavier if you want. But the lighter it is, you have to up the reps.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you say soup cans. I mean, how many reps do I have to do? Like, I would be doing it for 100, 200 reps just
Well,
to.
You're at home, so turn on some soaps or turn on a good TV show and just keep curling. And once you start to feel it, just keep working at it. And also, you can take a break.
Oh, good. I like
Take a
hearing
break,
that.
put it down. But you know what? If you don't think you had a good enough workout, drop, do some push-ups, pick the soup cans back up, keep going.
So you never
Run
sit
in place.
still.
No.
Well, that's
Keep
how you
that
get
heart
this
rate
body.
up. Yep, keep the heart rate up and you're all good.
Okay, what else should I do with these dumbbells?
So what else you can do is you
Probably not bounce them together.
can, well, if you're feeling musical, go for it.
Okay.
You can put them on your shoulders just like that. Keep your elbows up. When you keep your elbows up, it makes your chest stay up. And we're gonna work on our legs, so you can squat down and push back up.
Okay.
Exactly. And when you're squatting, you make sure that your knees don't go past your toes. And it's almost like
Did
you're
you
trying
hear them cracking?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm old.
And you can actually, if you're just learning how to do this, you can use a chair. So the goal is to, like you're about to sit in a chair, you put your bottom back and down, and you keep the elbows
How
up.
far down? I mean, do I have to go all the way down?
Yeah, I mean, ideally you can get a 90-degree angle with your knees. But if you're just starting out again, until you feel the pressure, and just push right back up.
Okay, well, these are some great tips. And, if you can't make it out to the gym, you have no excuses to pull out the soup cans. We'll be back with more Everyway Woman. Thanks so much for this.
Everyday Kitchen is next with Everyway Woman. She is a young professional and a woman in a man's world. So today we're interviewing Manji Rios. Welcome to the show. You're running your family's business.
Yes, it's a lot.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
So how old were you when you started working with your family?
I was probably around 17 or 18 years old, right out of high school.
Was it always expected that you would step into this role?
I think so. I think my dad's always kind of had that feeling in the back of his mind that he's always wanted me to take over for him one day whenever he decides to retire.
Which is probably going to be never. But what about your mom?
Exactly. My mom, she helps out with the businesses,
Okay.
but she's more of like the homemaker and stuff. But she definitely is there to help out whenever we need it.
I can only imagine they'd be very hands-on. Does the business ever turn off? Is it just family ever at the dinner table or a holiday?
I think there's spurts and moments when it happens, but not all the time. I mean, business is always on our mind. Branding is always on our mind. So everywhere we go, everything we do, the brand is the first thing that just pops to mind, and it's always the first conversation starter.
But was it always what you wanted for yourself?
Not in the beginning. At first, I was like, I want to be a lawyer. Then I went to school, got into the whole justice system, and then I was like, I really want to get into probation and parole. I interned at the probation department and
That's
everything.
serious.
Yeah, I was so into it. I love the justice system. It's always been a passion.
But you also love tequila.
Yes, exactly.
So you chose to become the marketing director of your family's business instead. It's a man's world, the spirit industry.
It is.
Tell me about that.
It's very different. You get a lot of those stares and little snark remarks here and there.
What
but
are they saying?
I mean, I've never really had anybody say anything directly to me, but
You just know they're saying something?
yeah, because I mean, it is such a male-dominated category, and I haven't been down personally to Mexico to put the recipes and stuff together. My dad did all that himself, but from what I understand, even that process was so hard, especially considering the fact that we aren't Mexican and we're not any type of Latinos. And
Let's talk about that for a minute. So how does that community embrace a non-Mexican tequila? I mean, it comes from Mexico.
Yeah, it comes from Mexico, so it is made in Mexico. But I think initially, from when my dad tells the stories, you hear all the different hardships he went through, and it was hard because people laughed at him. They're like, an Indian in Mexico trying to make tequila to sell in America? Like, what is going on?
Nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
My head is spinning just trying to put those pieces together, and I can only imagine then how you must feel as a woman walking in who's, a woman, Indian, you're young, you have all this responsibility. How do you navigate that?
I'm a very, I guess you could say I'm a little OCD when it comes to things sometimes, and so
most of us
are. I'm very organized. I always like to be in control and stuff, and so I like to have my stuff planned out, and I like to see it all scheduled.
And I'm sure you approached it that way, but there must have been, your first mistake that you made when you stepped into the role. And it's your family's business. I mean, the pressure's on.
Right. I think one of probably the biggest things that I did in the beginning was maybe I walked into it and I was like, tequila, yes, all right, we're gonna drink and have fun, and
you would think so.
And especially being younger, we started this business 4 years ago, so I was in my almost late 20s, and so I was more in like a party mode, and I was ready to just go out and celebrate, sell tequila, get everybody to drink, and get the party started. And I think that's where I needed to kind of step back a little bit and be like, okay, this is business. I need to be a little more professional about it.
At what point did you learn that lesson?
I think just kind of starting right into it, because like you said, being a female in the industry, being a young female and not a Latina, it's difficult because
was there ever the point you partied a little too hard?
Not in work events, no. No, I have not. So anything we've done with the tequila.
Because tequila's always tempted me, and let me tell you, and the next day it shows. I don't know how I could, step into work without it showing on my face.
Yeah, I'm sure I've done it plenty of times when I was younger, but.
So what would you advise for, a woman stepping into a man's world like this?
I would say stay strong, just stay focused, and remember that there's a lot on your plate, and you want to show the boys that you're better. So
absolutely. So what's next for you?
Well, recently I started a nonprofit, so I'm getting into that full time as well, on top of everything I do with the tequila company. So I have a lot of different goals and ambitions and things I want to do, and I'm getting started.
Okay, so you're going to take your next steps.
Yes.
And in this nonprofit, what about family business?
Family, I love my family. We are all very, very close. And
so you're going to keep it going?
Yes.
All right, well, I want you to come back to the show, and we're going to include you in a few more segments, because I cannot just talk about tequila without tasting
Definitely,
some
you have
tequila.
to try some.
Ultra premium, sophisticated, and always a good time, right?
Yes, always.
Always. Stay tuned for some really great segments with Manji. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll catch you next time. For more information, go to everywaywoman.com. That was great. I mean, and how cute is
I'm an everyday woman, 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 in every way. Yeah, yeah. I'm living my life, 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 living day